our surprise guests, my brother and sister-in-law. Where's Michael?
We just didn't quite get started off on the right foot with our day. We've never attempted to do a repair like this before.
What's possibly gonna go wrong now?
Doing some bush mechanicking. This is Joel. Together with Tony and Jared, he gave up everything to buy a boat and go on the adventure of a lifetime. But after a death-defying sail to Cuba, he returned to Key West and found himself alone.
Wish me luck on this adventure.
When Michael finished school, I asked her to sail with me to the Bahamas. She agreed, but joined strictly as crew. 4 months later, we made it to the Dominican Republic. Broke and in love.
Bums on a Boat is a true story about facing fear, finding adventure, and falling in love. Each tale is brought to you by our patrons and viewers. Subscribe and click the bell to get notified about weekly premieres and visit our website to learn more. Thank you for watching.
We're walking away with a little girl.
These are the tales of Moab.
Today is the big day. We're gonna try to turn that key. We also have our surprise guests, my brother and sister-in-law. Some of you might recognize this guy. Snapped inside there.
Well, good thing we bought two.
I don't know what to say, boys. They're gonna be here for a whole month. What you're seeing on my back is a gift Tony and Maria brought. 2 BCDs, brand new BCDs, complete with regulators. They have lifetime warranties. Caught us off guard, but we're taking these BCDs to our dive instructors, James and Yana, today. They're going to just go through everything, help us set them up, tell us any secrets about the bells and whistles that we might not be aware of. And we're actually planning a scuba diving trip. You guys certified?
Yeah, got certified right before we left.
What do you think?
I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot better than diving where we got certified.
Which was?
In Coeur d'Alene Lake.
What was the temperature of the water?
Maybe 50. And the temperature outside was in the 40s and rain. So it wasn't great.
Yeah, blue lips and shivering. That was not my ideal situation of learning to dive. Super excited of this bath water here.
My brother has not seen the boat since Key West, and I think that was like 4 years ago.
Maybe more. Yeah.
A little over 4 years now. And we were so excited to show him the new Shock Mate, and then the whole engine thing happened, and now she's just in a state of disarray. We've got an exciting day planned. We're hoping Tony's gonna be there for the first turn of the key. You also might be wondering, where's Michael? Well, Michael needed some solidarity, and also she wanted to write a little bit. We're going out to Shock Mate just to grab some yoga mats, but it will be the first time Tony's laid eyes on the old girl. The day is shaping up. Michael is now with us. Yoga was great. Tony, what do you think of Shock after not seeing her for a while?
Beautiful. You guys have done a great job.
They are about to go to the beach and scrape our old dinghy and outboard because she's a little barnacle-y.
Lola, you're gonna stay here.
That's awesome. And we're gonna get to work on the engine. Again. What do you think of boat life so far, Maria?
It's awesome.
What's so awesome about it?
Well, it's freedom.
If I remember how to drive this thing. You guys are probably wondering, why did Michael need solidarity? I brought it up, so Michael, you're gonna have to tell him what happened this morning. Why did you need some space?
Well, So Joel woke up in a really good mood. He does that sometimes. He's a morning person. I'm so not a morning person. And we just didn't quite get started off on the right foot with our day. And I thought, you know, I could use a little time to myself to get recentered and excited. And I did. And now I'm in a great mood.
I think we're better now.
And we're ready to go.
All right, well, we're gonna dig into the engine, the exhaust elbow. We gotta hook up the starter, water pump, all the easy stuff. And then Tom will be here for the grand finale. We're hoping to turn the key. We got some celebratory cervezas in case that happens. So wish us luck. We're gonna dive in now.
We got a bunch of stuff hooked up, like the exhaust elbow, the freshwater circulation pump, the fuel filter housing, and some hoses. And now we're looking at our impeller, which has always leaked a little bit, and I'm pretty sure that's the leak that caused our oil pan to rust through. It seems like there's a seal back behind the impeller that's probably failed. It's just a little rubber piece. We've never attempted to do a repair like this before with the raw water pump, so we're getting nervous that if we jump in, we're gonna find out that we don't have all the parts that we need. But Joel said, what the heck, we've got to fix it. We might as well just jump in there and do it. So here we go. Babe, where's your mind at?
Where is it? It's in my head.
What's it
course.
thinking?
It's thinking that it's thinking not very clearly. I guess it's thinking of what's possibly gonna go wrong now with this wild card. Let's just try to change the seals in this raw water pump for the first time.
Are you manifesting?
Yep.
What?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh. Alright, well, this is the first time we've seen the raw water pump out. I did manifest, but I just had the feeling because we've never taken this out, so we broke one bolt in the process. So we're going to have to find another bolt, but we did get 3 of them out successfully. Sorry, guys, I don't know if we'll be turning the key today, but we'll keep on going, replacing the seals. It definitely needed it, and the bolt that broke was the one I think that was getting a little bit of salt water, the leakage, because the seals are probably definitely a little worn. And from there it did track down probably onto the oil pan, so Michael might be right. Tony and Maria are back. She's nice and clean, guys.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think about the water?
Oh, it's like a bath water. It's almost like you get out and the wind's blowing and you're like, it's starting to get a little cooler, and you get back in, it's like bath water. Unbelievable.
Maria and Tony are awesome. They scraped the dinghy and old Johnny was getting barnacly, so now we're nice and clean. And we'll keep on working on the water pump. Tom's gonna be here in a little bit. All right, so there's a little retaining ring in there, and we didn't have the retaining ring pliers, but Bill had them. We just went over there, and of course, he had the perfect tool for the job, so we're gonna keep on going here and disassembling this raw water pump. Thank you, Bill. You are the man, and you have every tool in the world, I think. Okay, we brought these beers to celebrate the turning of the key. Thomas actually was the one that kind of brought up the subject of maybe we should have a cerveza. But now that we know we're not turning the key today, we just decided to crack into him. Thomas has arrived.
Oh, is there one more?
Yeah.
We caught him up with our little raw water pump fiasco. It's all good.
Snafu.
Snafu. We got a game plan there, but we're gonna just move on with what we were working on.
Okay.
And we're just gonna put that on the side burner. Michael and I can handle that. We gotta let that bolt soak a little bit.
We'll let it soak just overnight.
Overnight.
I mean, you know, by the time we get this done, it'll be off, and that'll be the last thing we have to do.
Right. But I'm not gonna tell you guys we're turning the key anymore. We're not saying that anymore, okay?
Yeah.
We're just gonna
Yeah, we won't turn the
we're
key
just gonna
today.
do our thing. And we'll
Okay,
turn
well-
the key when we're ready.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Usually you have to turn the engine over with the, if you're just doing the head, because you wouldn't undo this. We're just gonna leave the injectors in. So as we turn the engine over, we're gonna do it by hand. we will not have to fight the compression of the engine
Okay.
to get each valve adjusted. Okay, we're going to turn the engine so that we find, we're going to watch the valves, okay? And all I did was I made sure that each valve was inside. See, now this one's under load. You can't move that one.
Okay.
That one's loose, and that one's tight. Now we don't know if it's fully tight or if it's just getting ready to switch, because that cam we know has already started lifting that valve, but we don't know where it's lifting the valve. Okay. We have to find it when it's completely neutral.
Okay.
Theoretically, you do that on top dead center on the compression stroke, because we know that both valves will be completely closed. There'll be nothing touching that valve to keep it slightly open.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Okay, see that valve starting to come back up?
Okay.
See, now it's coming back up, but this one's going down.
Okay.
So this is, let's see, this is the intake. That's an intake valve. That should be an exhaust valve. No, that's an exhaust valve. That's an intake valve. So now it's starting to lift, and we'll show you here shortly. Okay, this one. Now this valve is opening up. So that means we know the piston's going down.
Okay.
So if I'm turning it the right way, but that doesn't matter. Let's just see what happens here. So right now, we are sucking in air if I'm turning the engine properly. Okay. All we did was we turned the engine and we watched the engine pull in air. We watched it compress. We watched it fire, and we watched it get rid of the gas. So now what we did was we're right in between. We just finished charging the engine up. It's getting ready to come up to compression stroke, which means the valves will be totally unaffected by the rocker arms. They're just, the springs are doing their job, keeping it closed.
Okay.
This is the point we want.
Okay.
And it's just a screw. That's all this is. But the nut is going to lock it into place. And I'm going to put this right there. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it. If I can get my screwdriver in there. Until I just start to feel it. And I mean just start to feel it.
Okay, so what we're adjusting now is the valve clearance.
And the idea is you want to make sure
in
that
our
this
manual,
stays level
valve clearance.
this way and also up and down, so it's really nicely in the gap. When you start to feel it get draggy, you have to keep moving this as you do that.
Yeah, wiggle it back and forth.
Yeah.
There you go.
Slack it off until and that's too tight. I can tell it's too tight. Slack it off. There you go. And between that and that, when you feel it get tight, now slack it off a little bit more.
So
and I mean, it goes in there, but it's not.
There's some resistance.
Yeah, and it's very, very little. In other words, it is the same measurement. Okay, so what I do now is I keep the screwdriver exactly there, and I take this nut and I tighten it, making sure that as it starts to come tight, that I do put a little pressure on that to loosen it, because I'm tightening it. So without turning it, I'm gonna, as if I'm loosening it, I'm gonna take this, except I goofed up. Okay, that's it right there. And again, remember, it's better to be a little bit big than a little bit tight if you had a choice. And that felt me drag this. So I felt, okay, it's not killer tight, but you definitely want it snug. Okay, I'd say that's a little bit loose. But again, it's better to be loose than tight.
The valve clearances
Are good.
are perfect.
We'll say they're in spec.
They're in spec. Okay, paper towel. Here we go.
All right.
Thomas needs his paper towels.
Want to put the new gasket in, or do you want to do that later? I don't think we'll have to take it back apart, so we might as well stick it in. If we knew we were going to have to retorque it, I'd say let's not worry about it.
Thomas was saying some engines you actually start it up, and then once it's warm, you take the valve cover off and you retorque all of the head bolts.
Which means you got to take all this out. You got to take that back off and that back. I think it's more of an older engine thing. The little copper washers that set in here, we got new ones in the kit, so we're going to use brand new ones, and this is what it's called, annealed. Now if we wanted to reuse that one, probably what we would do is we would anneal it, and it's just a matter of getting that not red hot, but really close to red hot. You heat it up and you can let it cool. You can either drop it in water or let it cool, and then what you've done is you've softened the metal again, so the next time you put it on, it will work like a new one.
So that's the fuel injectors.
This is the fuel injector itself. And we had taken these washers off the other day, so brand new one. Actually, you can just set it down in there and put that in between. There's like rust or something on here, but it's also a mating surface.
Rust and paint and
yeah, rust and
sorts of
paint.
goo.
This is a pretty soft material. We do not want to scratch it.
Doing some bush mechanicking.
Definitely
So,
push.
We
Awesome.
didn't end up with the rubber framed washers that we need to connect the fuel lines, but in our fuel pump kits for the outboard we have this little rubber stuff that's perfect, and so we just poked the bolt through and Tom cut around to make it the right size, and I think that's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
This is what we had in the kit, but that is not the correct piece.
You think that's gonna work?
I think it'll work.
All right, so Michael and I had some trouble with that bolt that broke off. Thomas has arrived, and we have a game plan moving forward. He was also unable to get it out at this moment.
We're thinking that the bolt has been dripped on saltwater wise, and it's swelled the boat, swollen the bolt with rust, and it's also corrosion. It's aluminum casting, so between the two of them, it's really gripping.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it. We wailed on that as tight as we could with a. But it doesn't take much force. It's gear driven. It just has to stay in there.
Okay, so Tom just left, and where we're at is we are going to tap into the stud in order to get a fresh bolt in there to hold our water pump on. And then
So what she's saying
we'll
is
be ready.
we're gonna have to call it a day. We're gonna Thomas left. He's gonna have to get some tools. We're gonna have to get a few more items.
Lock washers.
So the journey continues.
Yes. The saga continues.
So that's that. We'll see you on the other side of the camera on another day.
See you next time.